right now, the Artemis 2 crew is making its re-entry back into the Earth's atmosphere. They have lost communication. The Orion blackout is happening now. Splashdown set to happen at 8:07 tonight. We'll bring that to you live. It is almost time for this historic return of the Artemis astronauts, and the high drama and all eyes on the skies for this dramatic finale of humanity's first voyage to the moon now in more than half a century. 1010 Wings will again bring you that splashdown live when Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, and Christina Koch, and Canada's Jeremy Hansen all make their dramatic return. We are getting very close to the Artemis crew returning.
WINS FM in HD1 New York.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
AccuWeather says partly to mostly cloudy. A shower can't be ruled out around midnight tonight, especially near and north 287. We're going down to 47 degrees. Then for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies and a high of 66 degrees. And more people get their news from 1010 Winds than from any other radio station in the nation. James Boyzitz and Anthony Boscow are our service aides tonight. Sweetina Kakar is at the editor's desk. I'm Suzanne Colucci.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM, New York.
51 degrees, partly cloudy skies at 8 o'clock. Good evening, I'm Lane Bajardi, and here's what's happening. Tonight's the night. Artemis 2 comes back to Earth with a splashdown that we are now minutes away from, with live coverage ahead. A bus accident in the Bronx sends several people to the hospital. From New York mayor to citizen of Albania, that's the track Eric Adams appears to be on. Kamala Harris in Harlem today, not ruling out another run for president. Young American men will soon be automatically registered for the military draft. Sports, Mets host the A's, Yankees in Florida to face the Rays. Knicks host the Raptors, Nets in Milwaukee. AccuWeather says partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Could see a shower shortly after midnight, especially near or northwest of 287. Some clearing toward daybreak. Low 49. More on your weekend forecast ahead. Winds News Time 8:01. Let's get you where you need to go. Here is Kelly Dillon.
Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We are getting word of a crash on the Queensbound Throgs Neck mid-span closing a lane. Bumper-to-bumper delays. The Whitestone Bridge moving a bit better at the George, both directions, about a 25-minute backup. Lower decks are a little bit better. The inbound Lincoln up to a half-hour backup still into Jersey. That is only about 10 minutes. The Holland Tunnel tonight, inbound about 20 and outbound. Delays there have eased out. We are busy on the FDR Drive southbound at the RFK, and then farther south from the 70s into the 20s. It is stop and go. The west side moving a bit better. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Moving fine in Nassau County on the LIE. No trouble to report on the northern or southern state parkways. The westbound BQE bumper to bumper through Queens and into Brooklyn, pretty much from the LIE through the Williamsburg, then both ways into Atlantic Ave. That is at a standstill. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Winds at 92.3 FM.
The Artemis 2 astronauts have re-entered the Earth's atmosphere ahead of a splashdown in the Pacific, and communications have been restored with the crew. Mission Control keeping a close eye on the Orion capsule's heat shield. It must withstand thousands of degrees of heat as it descends. Then the capsule must rapidly decelerate so it can safely splash down in the Pacific. We now join ABC News live special coverage anchored by David Muir.
These parachutes, though we're not entirely sure we will.
We're processing good data through the GPS system. A good view of integrity, time to splash down 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes to splash down. There's an elaborate sequence of parachutes here. The first deployed at around...
And a view of integrity from the WB-57.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're at 50,000 feet.
At around 22,000 feet, you'll see the first parachutes here. Part of this sequence of chutes. I saw some movement right there. Was that a... There it is. You can see a flash of something. Not entirely sure.
Not
It's
These
one of the
pyros
chutes
are
there.
armed for forward bay cover jettison.
flicker of something just above.
Here, you're going to see the jettison and then the drogue chutes.
And they deploy at about 22,000 feet, right,
Right,
Susan?
and they're the first ones to come out.
Yeah.
There they are.
There they are.
There they are, right there.
And then
And there
there
go the first series of
other ones
parachutes.
right away.
And we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
Yep. Good drogue.
Those parachutes right there will slow the spacecraft to about 200
drogue
miles an
chutes.
hour.
Next up,
We copy. We see them.
Next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well, it's just incredible to think 4 human beings inside that capsule, right? Who have just seen the far side of the moon and come back to tell us about it. And what a bond we've witnessed from them. The hug,
Perfect descent rate according to flight dynamics.
Good rates on 2 drogues.
the symbol of the heart in their
We keep the
photographs
same on board.
that they sent back. And they named one of the craters in the moon that they discovered themselves after Reed Weissman's late wife, Carol. She died in 2020 of cancer. They'd been together for decades. And one of his fellow astronauts
Passing through 10,000 feet,
spoke of the moment.
still on drogues.
Because Reed couldn't say it himself, though he was moved, certainly, that the astronauts decided, let's name it after your late wife, Carol. So many stories they'll share with us. There's the second set right there.
Main chute deploy. We're at 5,000 feet.
The crew
Search and
we met with-
recovery beacon has been activated on integrity.
The search and recovery beacon activated for those Navy divers who are now racing to the site.
Out the window.
Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
Rates, and we see 3 good-looking parachutes.
This is picture perfect.
Integrity. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
This is a perfect descent for integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board.
Glad to hear
Time
it.
to splash down 1 minute, 15 seconds.
1 minute, 15 seconds until splashdown in the Pacific Ocean off of San Diego. The USS John Murtha is in the region. Navy divers will race to the craft. They will deploy that inflatable around the
Integrity
capsule.
about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon.
I mean, either word you have not heard in decades in this country. There are a lot of viewers watching tonight who remember this from the Apollo mission, several of them, those missions, but of course, a whole younger generation witnessing something that they've only read about in the history books. A little flash there at the capsule.
Passing through 1,000 feet.
Those 3 parachutes, of course, the end of that sequence, and certainly the ones that are doing most of the work in trying to slow this capsule, slow integrity down to about 20 miles per hour. There's the splashdown.
Command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown. Waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time.
Which, by the way, is exactly when NASA said it would happen. 7 minutes past the hour.
A new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
Back on Earth, in the Pacific. The divers will get there. They will look at the outside of Integrity to make sure.
And the landing and support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1.
Stable, there you
We
go.
still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
We can breathe.
We can. We just want to see them now, right? And they will get to the craft, the divers, and as I was mentioning earlier, I just don't like to talk over NASA because they're so fascinating. I'm having fun listening in on them as well. But they will check the exterior of the capsule to make sure that there isn't any significant damage, make sure it's safe to open the latch.
The unofficial splashdown time, 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m. Central Time. We'll get that refined for you.
Well, now they're just showing off. They tell us it's exactly when we said it would happen.
31 minutes, 35 seconds.
There will be an initial
And
check.
we're configuring for very low data rate.
They will initially check to make sure that all of the astronauts are feeling okay. And then they're going to take...
Splashdown occurring in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego at 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m.
Integrity Houston, comm check on VLDR.
Houston, we have you loud and clear on VLDR. How us?
We have you
see
the same.
fast
We'll meet
boats
you over in
making their
post-landing.
way to Integrity.
Perfect communications established.
We are told this is the first time that the U.S. Navy has teamed up with NASA to get to the crew on board, those 4 astronauts,
Houston copies all.
3 Americans, 1 Canadian.
4 green crew members. That is not their complexion. That is the fact that they're in great condition. That's what that means. So stable 1, upright. The crew module uprighting system is being deployed. The 5 airbags being inflated through helium to maintain the upright configuration for the vehicle. This was a textbook entry and a textbook touchdown for Integrity. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen back on Earth after a journey around the moon.
And you've been listening to live coverage of the Artemis II crew splashing down in the Pacific Ocean safely, soundly, and exactly on schedule for NASA tonight on 1010 Winds at 92.3 FM. Lock it in for more coverage as we learn more about this amazing mission now coming to a close. Winds News Time, 8:11. Let's catch up on getting you where you need to go with Kelly Dillon.
We've got big backups tonight at the bridges and tunnels, and here's what you need to know. Outbound George, upper level, about a 20-minute backup getting there. Lower deck is better, but inbound the upper deck, about 10 to 15 minutes. The inbound Lincoln is at least a half-hour wait. Inbound at the Holland, about 15, then into Jersey at both. Not looking too bad. Quite a busy ride on the Queens-bound RFK Bridge along the Queens-span, both the Whitestone and Throgs Neck bridges, bumper to bumper, heading into Queens as well tonight. In Manhattan, we do have a big backup on the southbound side of the FDR from the 70s heading on down into the teens. It is stop and go tonight. The West Side Highway, a little bit better, but keep in mind northbound into the 30s. Emergency construction is in the right lane, slowing up traffic. Then also bumper to bumper now on the Southern State Parkway as you make your way eastbound, heading into about, looks like exit 17. We've got a new crash, closing a lane, Sunrise Highway, the better option. Kelly Dillon, 1010 Winds at 92.3 FM.
Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here is meteorologist Brian Thompson.
We'll have some clouds moving through as we head through tonight, so there might even be a shower in some spots around or shortly after midnight, especially near and northwest of 287. Eventually, there will be some clearing toward daybreak, a low 49. Breezy and a nice day tomorrow with a good deal of sunshine, a high of 66. Mainly clear tomorrow night, so really not much in the way of wind with a low 45. Little